Hello, everyone. Glad you can join me for this live stream that I wanted to address you today about something I'm going to do tomorrow that I think is very important. As you know, our country is under siege. We're reeling from terrible violence that's taking place all over our country and all over our states. And then it hit Providence, Rhode Island, which um, really affected me a lot because every one of these towns affected me, of course, these cities. I love New York. I've been to California many times. And every one of them certainly was heart wrenching to see these cities burning and these riots take place throughout the country. But especially, of course, when it hits home, there's also a certain feeling that you have that's even a little different, as much as you empathize for everybody else. I was born in Providence. I was born in Lion Inn Hospital in 1965. And I was brought home from the hospital in Providence, lying in, to my home above my grandparents' house, my maternal grandparents' house in Providence in Holy Cross Parish on Hartford Avenue. So I lived there in that neighborhood in Providence for 2 years. And then my family, when I was two, moved to the Elmhurst section of Providence, and I remained in Providence. I grew up in the St. Augustine's parish on Meridian Street, right near LaSalle Academy. And Providence was where I went to school my whole life. I went to Robert F. Kennedy School, the little school on Eaton Street, little brick red school near Providence College. I went to Nathaniel Green Middle School for 2 years because Kennedy went up to the 6th grade. So 7th and 8th, I was in Nathaniel Green. And then I went to LaSalle Academy, not too far from those two schools, right in between those two schools, actually. And then from LaSalle, I went to Rhode Island College, and that which is in Providence. And I walked pretty much to every school that I went to, all in Providence. Then after college, I ended up working for two mayors of Providence. I worked in City Hall before going into the seminary as an administrative assistant to first Mayor Paulino, and then to Mayor Cianci. And the great thing about working for those two mayors was that I was able to really see the city of Providence, especially the downtown area, have a tremendous renaissance under those two men. They both deserve credit. It was Buddy Cianci's idea, and it was he who began the whole project of moving the rivers and putting the downtown together like we so beautifully see it now. And then Joe Paulino became mayor, and he carried the mission and the vision of Buddy Cianci along with him. And he really, Buddy is the one really that we should thank for the beauty of downtown, for the vision he had. But Joe Paolino was the one who really put the whole thing together. He's the one who really executed the plan, and very, very dutifully was a great steward of Providence when he was mayor in that city. And I had the privilege and the honor for working for both of them before going into the seminary. And I got to be right on the ground floor of seeing the Renaissance take place in Providence, and the water river fires and the gondolas and the beauty that was brought to that city, my hometown, where both my parents were born as well in Providence. They were both born right off Hartford Avenue in Holy Cross Parish, right near Monda's Bakery. Now it's called Buono Bakery. So, and the only time I moved from Providence is because I was assigned to. I went into the seminary at Catholic University in Washington, D.C., and then, I was in D.C. for my years. And then when I got out of the seminary, of course, the bishop decided where I was going to live. And I've never lived in Providence as a priest, but it's my home city. It's my hometown. And I'm very, very saddened and almost in tears right now as I think of what is going on in this city and how our beautiful capital of Rhode Island is being torn to pieces by looters and vandals and wrecking, setting a police car on fire. Police cars are $100,000. That comes out of taxpayers' money. So it's just so tragic to see. So what I would like to do is tomorrow, I'm going to celebrate a special mass, and I'm going to urge my brother priests, any priest who's listening, or if you know a priest, or if you're in contact with a priest, ask him to do this. He may want to, he may not want to, it's up to him. But tomorrow is what is called in the church, because it's ordinary time. Tomorrow is what's called in the church a ferial day. So it's a day in which we don't have a saint or a feast or a solemnity or anything attached to it. It's just a week in ordinary time where we would wear green vestments. Before the Second Vatican Council, it would be called, the first week of Pentecost, the second week of Pentecost, rather than ordinary time. So we're really living in like the first week of Pentecost right now. And tomorrow there's no feast or saint assigned to it. Usually on Thursday at Immaculate Conception, I celebrate a votive mass to the Blessed Sacrament, which I usually do on Thursdays. But tomorrow, what I would like to do, and I would, like I said, really urge my brother priest to do, is in the Roman Missal that we use on the altar, which is also called the sacramentary, that big book, that sits on the altar that the priest reads from during Mass. There is a votive Mass, an option for a votive Mass. And the option for the votive Mass is called in time of war or civil disturbance. In time of war or civil disturbance. And so really, I think that's what we're in right now. We were fighting a war with the coronavirus, and it might have been a good idea to celebrate a Mass for that intention, but we were in the Easter season. So you really can't typically celebrate a votive Mass when you have to celebrate the feast of the Easter day, I believe. But it would have been a good idea because we were fighting the war of the coronavirus. Now we're fighting civil disturbance. So really, it's both. So really, what I would like to do is tomorrow, please tune in for my Mass that's going to be streamed online. And it's going to be a votive Mass that's one of the options in the Roman Missal, which is called a time of war or civil disturbance. And that's what the votive Mass is going to be for tomorrow. I also would like to encourage all of you to join me every day in praying the Rosary, because the only way out of this is through the Blessed Virgin Mary, to pray for us in this time of need. She's our mother. She loves us. Whenever we have a problem, we go to our mother, right? And she comforts us and she cares for us. Jesus's first miracle was performed at her request when she said, they have no more wine. And Jesus said, what problem of yours does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come. And she told the waiters, do whatever he tells you. And so that's really what Mary says to us. Do whatever my son tells you. So I really believe that we can post things online. We can get political. It's our right, I guess, civilly to do that. We can make speeches and pound our chest and lament, what's going on, and argue back and forth about who's the cause and who's to blame, or how, we can politically get out of this, or what we can do that's going to change things or make things better. And really, I believe the greatest weapon we have, we should use, and that is the Rosary. The Holy Rosary. Our Blessed Mother is always saying that to us. In Fatima, she's saying that to us. In Lourdes, she's saying that to us. In Guadalupe, she's saying that to us. Everywhere she has appeared, she has told the visionaries that they have to pray the Rosary, and her Rosary is going to be our way out of this. And so it's our weapon. And so I really hope every day I'm praying the rosary, and typically it's with adoration to the Blessed Sacrament. Some days it's not, but it depends. But on the prayers that we're praying throughout the course of the day. But I really hope that at least for 9 days, starting tomorrow as we pray, in time of war and social disturbance, that I hope at least for 9 days that everyone watching this, or anybody who wants to spread the word about this, will join me in praying the rosary. I'm going to be praying it every day, indefinitely, but streaming it, but especially tune in for 9 days as we'll pray to the Blessed Virgin Mary and ask for her prayers in time of civil disturbance. That's going to be our novena to her in time of civil disturbance. And we have to pray that we'll be kept in her mantle, because, as I said, it's the only solution to this. It's horrific to see what's going on in our major cities and the loss of life that's taking place. This poor police officer, a retired chief, a black man, beautiful man, in St. Louis, who was defending a business, and he was shot dead. Other police officers that have been shot. Just terrible social unrest over a terrible injustice that happened, and that was heinous and despicable and terrible. But as Christians, we're called to love our enemies, to pray for our persecutors, even to be martyred. And out of that martyrdom, as Jesus said as he was hanging on the cross, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And that needs to be our rally cry if ever we're persecuted, or if ever we're martyred in some way. Our prayer has to be what Jesus said on the cross: Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And that is the answer to our problems, is praying the rosary, turning to our Blessed Mother. So please join me then for the next 9 days, starting Thursday, when I pray the rosary in the oratory of the rectory dedicated to Saint Jose Maria Escrivá. We'll also pray through his intention too, because that's who the oratory is named for. And we'll pray together a 9-day novena. And tomorrow I'll be celebrating a special votive mass in times of civil disturbance. So I really hope and pray that you'll join me in turning to the Blessed Virgin Mary in this Rosary Novena. God bless.